right, just a reminder that you should have out your video notes packet that you received. So this is target 0. We're looking at functions and relations. And just a reminder, this is just a review from algebra. So a relation is any set of ordered pairs. The first set of components of the ordered pairs is called the domain. And all of the second components, that's called the range. And so if you think of an ordered pair, remember that's an x and a y value. So it's really saying domain is the x values and range are the y values. A relation in which each member of the domain corresponds to exactly one member of the range is a function. And a function is a relation in which no two ordered pairs have the same first component and different second components. In other words, for every x value, there's only one y value. All right, so now we're going to look at graphically how can we decide if something's a function. So if you're looking at the graph, you can use what's called the vertical line test. In other words, if you draw a vertical line through any part of the graph, it doesn't matter where, if it only hits one point, it is a function. So this is a function because there's no vertical line I could draw where it hits the graph more than once. If we look at B and we do the vertical line test, you've got a point here. If I draw a vertical line, it doesn't hit another point. Same here, same here, same here. So this passes the vertical line test, so it would be a function. If we look at C and do the vertical line test, I could draw a vertical line here, for example, and it would hit 2 points. So that does not pass the vertical line test, and therefore is not a function. Domain, remember, is the set of all x values, and we're going to write the domain in interval notation. So the x values go from left to right. So the smallest x value I see on this graph is right here at -3. And then the biggest x value I see is over here at 2. Okay, and now I need to decide if I'm going to use brackets or parentheses at each of those. So for the x value of -3, I'm going to use brackets because it's a closed-in circle. And for the x value of 2, I'm going to use parentheses because it's an open circle. For the range, now we're looking at the y values. So that's like from the bottom to the top. So the smallest y value I see is -5. And that's going to have brackets because it's a closed-in circle. The biggest y value I see is 4. That will also have brackets because the graph goes through that point. Looking at B, I'm going to go ahead and write out these ordered pairs since it's just a bunch of points. So this first ordered pair is at 1, 5. The next one is at 3, 5. The next one is at 4, 2. And that last one is at 6, -2. All right, so my domain, that's all the x values. So I have 1, 3, 4, and 6. And the range is all the y values. So I see that I have a y value of 5 twice. I only have to write it once. So I have 5, 2, and -2. All right, for C domain, that's all the possible x values. So that's going left to right. If you look going to the left, these arrows mean I'm going to the left forever. So on that side, I'm going to have that we're going to -infinity. On the right, let's see, it's a little bit hard for me to read. 5, 10, 15. I believe that's an x value of 15 right here. So that's saying it goes from x values -infinity to +15. Whenever you use an infinity, you're always going to have parentheses there. The 15 will use brackets because it's included. The range, that's all the y values, so that's going bottom to top. And these arrows on the end here, this one is going left and down forever. This one's going left and up forever. So if you think of the range as from bottom to top, we're going from negative infinity to positive infinity. All right, now we're going to look at evaluating functions given an equation, a table, and a graph. Okay, so A, that's read f of negative 5. So I need to go to the function f of x, that's this one. And that's just saying where you see x, replace it with negative 5. So now we're going to simplify that. Remember, if you square a negative, you get a positive. I believe that gives us 48. All right, f of x plus 4. So that means wherever I see x, I'm going to replace it with x plus 4. Okay, so I have to remember that when I'm squaring something, it really means I'm multiplying it times itself twice, and I have to double distribute. So x times x gives me x squared, x times 4 gives me plus 4x, 4 times x gives me plus 4x again, 4 times 4 gives me 16. And now I can simplify that, so I really have x squared plus 8x plus 16. That's just that part. Next I need to distribute a negative 2 through the parentheses, so I'll get minus 2x minus 8, and then that plus 7 at the end. So I'm going to combine like terms. I've got x squared, that 8x and negative 2x will give me plus 6x. And then here I get positive 8 plus 7 would be plus 15. All right, part C, g of 2. So I need to go to the g function, which I can see is in the table. So that's saying that the x value is 2. Here's where I see an x value of 2. So the answer here is the y value. That's negative 6. Part D, I'm looking for the h function. I can see that's here in the graph. So h of 1. So that means I'm finding an x value of 1. That happens here. And I want to find out when that hits the graph, which is right here at this point. And that y value there is negative 4. So that's the end of Target Zero notes. Hope that was a good review from algebra.